And they deserve to enjoy themselves. They played as though they enjoyed it today, Grant, or they enjoyed their football, and that's the way you've got to, when you're winning, obviously, and things are going for you, you've got to make the most of it. I'm disappointed I'm not with them, but I'm sure they won't be too disappointed I'm not there.
Tony was travelling to Bristol for a testimonial dinner on the Sunday evening for Phil Purnell, a former Bristol Rovers teammate. He took the chance to visit an old friend, Mike Lyons, a former fullback with Bournemouth, and his wife Margaret on Saturday evening. Having phoned wife Debbie to check on the family, an evening in discussing old times was rounded off with a viewing of Match of the Day. There are no Sunday lie-ins in Tony Pulis' life. He was up by 8 o'clock the next morning, ready for his weekly therapeutic visit to church. A lifelong Catholic, Tony had not been able to drink alcohol all weekend because it was Lent.
Ever since I was a young kid, I've gone to church. I went firstly with my grandfather. We backed onto his house. We lived in the docks down in Newport. We used to go to St Michael's to school, like the primary school, and I'd always go. I think I started off, Grant, because my nan used to always cook a lovely breakfast on a Sunday. So I used to get up about 7:30, get ready, go across to my grandfather, go down to church, come back and have a lovely breakfast. And it's gone on from there. Then I've gone with Dad, and then it's force of habit, and I feel very guilty if I miss church. I wouldn't say I was a really totally religious man. Matter of fact, I must probably go to church because I commit more sins than anybody else.
So it's a different Tony Pulis to the one sitting on the bench screaming at the referee on Saturday.
Yeah, but then that's life, Grant, I think. You've got to understand if you haven't got no real feelings, then it's not worth being a manager, it's not worth being a player. I'm very competitive. I just hope people can understand that there's more than one side, and if you see me at home with my family, I'm a different man again. I love to spend time with the kids, and they will tell you that I'm the entertainment manager. I'm the one who takes them to pictures, I'm the one who takes them out, whereas Debs will enjoy her peace and quiet when they're out. I don't half enjoy going out with my children.
Church, there was a marvellous breakfast, which was followed by the traditional footballer's pastime of a round of golf. Phil Purnell and the Cheltenham manager Lindsay Parsons joined Tony for 18 holes at Chipping Sodbury Golf Club.
Short tee.
I was suitably used as Tony's caddy.
How far's the first one, Grant? Come on, Grant, you're my caddy. You're not supposed to say,
The competitive part of Tony's character could not be forgotten. He never lost his temper, he never cheated, well, not too much. But you knew, despite the good humour, that he wanted to win that round of golf, and he duly did.
Well, I enjoy a game of golf. I think it's very, very relaxing. Every time you go out, you enjoy yourself, and people are out to enjoy themselves as well. It's a relaxation, and it's enjoyable. Lindsay's just lost his ball in the water, which is not a result.
Having watched the League Cup final on television and enjoyed the testimonial dinner for Phil Purnell, Tony Pulis finally headed for home at 10 o'clock on Sunday evening. He arrived at midnight. The family were in bed. The weekend was over.
Yeah, it was a long weekend. Obviously, the journey up on Friday was an absolute nightmare. The game against Tranmere wasn't a brilliant game, and a couple of players that we talked about going up never did anything spectacular. But that's football, Grant. If you don't go around watching things, then you never know whether they'll be good enough or not. That doesn't mean to say that I'm finished with watching those players. I must probably watch them twice, maybe 3 times before the end of the season, and take it from there. Saturday was rewarding because we talked and worked pretty hard to combat Stockport. I think we did that, but not only did we do that, we played ever so well ourselves. There's got to be some stage where we've got to try and push forward in some respects, because I think the supporters only take so much. They've seen another good player go. Yeah, it's a cracking deal, but I think something's got to come out of it, Grant. If it only means speculating on maybe 2 or 3 other players at small fees, at least we're speculating to accumulate again. But you know, the debt was massive, the financial situation was massive. I think in the 18 months, 19 months I've been in charge, there's been a lot of money generated, but it's been generated and taken away to service a massive debt. It's very frustrating for me, because I want to be successful and I want the team to be successful, and I want, you know, obviously the town and the supporters to be a part of it. I've taken some flack for selling players, I've taken some flack for players leaving the football club and for results and this, that and the other, but I'll always try and do my best, and that's all I can possibly do. And at the end of the day, if my best ain't good enough, then I'll walk away and hold my hand up.
Finally, I've asked a few people what they think of you. What about yourself? How would you describe yourself as a person?
I'm very competitive. I'm maybe at times too much up front. I'll fall out with people because of what I'll say, and you know, people just take me for face value. If people can't take it, then they obviously won't get on with me. But you know, I never hold any grudges. I get it done, and what I say is what I believe. And I have honestly at times been like a bull out of a gate and dived in and said things, and maybe I shouldn't have. I think as you get older, you get a little bit wiser, and I'm still learning. It's my first job, but I was like it as a player. I used to say what I thought, and I used to play with my heart on my sleeve, and most probably I managed that way. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. I found it very difficult dealing with the local press at times, and maybe that's been my fault as well as theirs. Maybe because again I've said things and been too honest. I might have been more not devious, but held back on certain things instead of doing them. But there we are. That's the way I am, and you know, I hope I can change and mellow a little bit if people think that that's the best way of being. But again, I can only do my best. That's all I can do. And I always say to the players, and I think it's true, if they do their best, win, lose or draw, at least they can walk away and say, well, I've been honest, I've had a right go, and that's what what I'll have done.
3 days with a football manager. To be honest, I was exhausted by the end of it. Tony Pulis does say what he thinks. He thinks Bournemouth Football Club should be spending within reasonable limits to build a competitive squad of players, rather than constantly selling his best assets. He thinks Bournemouth Football Club should be treated as a football club by its board of directors, rather than what appears to be some sort of power game. He thinks as the fans do, and that is probably where he's going wrong. Perhaps if he learnt to be dishonest, not to care so much about his players or indeed the results, perhaps if he became more ambitious for himself rather than the club he in theory runs, then perhaps he would be a happier man. Somehow, I think not.
Morning, Darren.
Right, mate.
Nice cup of coffee.
We might not have paying notes, but we got happiness.
Happiness. Happiness.
For 2 years I've been in charge. I think we've got £1 million coming in next year on players if they make the appearances. I think we've brought in, 1.4 already. Where the money's gone, Grant, that's another matter.
He's a down-to-earth kind of bloke, and he's played himself, so he knows what the situation is.
One day all the dirty washing will come out on the line, and people will be able to see what has been happening behind the scenes. And there's been some scandalous things happening behind the scenes at this football club over the last 3 or 4 months. It's been poor. I'm not in a position to say anything about it. Let's just hope it comes out and supporters get the real picture.
Tony's been with us 2 seasons. He said it'll take 3 years, and I think Tony really wants to have a go at it next year and see if we can turn it round and really get up there among the playoffs, if not get promotion.
Get back in, Justin! In you!
He's got a very strong character, very strong, and I think that keeps him going. Sometimes when the rest of us are wilting, he seems to find a second strength, and that keeps everybody else revved up as well.
Yeah, I'll do my best. That's all I can do. I'll do my best. And at the end of the day, if my best ain't good enough, then I ain't going to hold no grudges against anybody, Grant. I'll just hold my hand up. Thank Bournemouth Football Club very much for the time I've had here, which has been a smashing time, and we'll go from there. But I've got a year left, Grant, and I ain't giving up, mate.
If you don't match them, they're a physical team. If you don't match them, lads, not worth going out there. You may as well stay in here now. But unless you win the battle, you ain't got a chance. You may as well stay in here. All the best, guys. All the best, guys.
BBC Radio Solent would like to express its sincere gratitude to Tony Pulis and the rest of AFC Bournemouth for their help and cooperation in the compilation of A Weekend with Pulis.